Okay, so I triggered this person, Greg MacEachearn, who regularly appears on Canadian TV. As you can see, I'm now blocked by them. I'll explain that a little bit and then show some clips from Greg. But basically, he was responding or quoted this post from Jasmine Lane, a beautiful and deeply personal moment where Pierre Poilievre opens up about his father being gay. I'm only going to post or show rather a little bit of this exchange.
And Donald would eventually come out as gay.
That's right.
One would assume that he was dealing with the conflict of feelings.
Yes.
For much of the time.
He had been raised in a very devoutly French Catholic household, and that's why we have a French name. And
so, yeah, he's talking there about his father, adopted father, that came out as gay. Greg MacEachearn, perhaps a good follow-up question for Canadian journalists would be what Pride events he plans on attending this summer. I mean, that's just a left-wing asshole thing to say. I actually don't really care because I don't mind when political pundits are kind of nasty like that, but imagine the same situation on the other side. Like whatever the correct analogy would be, I don't know, somebody commenting on maybe Mark Carney talking about somebody that's a Christian pastor that he knows, and there's some snarky comment about maybe you should ask him about the churches being burned in Canada or whatever. I'm not even saying that's a perfect analogy, but you can just be a left-wing asshole in Canada, no problem. This guy will continue to be on TV, I'm sure, a bunch. But anyway, I said, what the F? This guy is a psycho. This is an extreme person, yet gets on TV all the time. I mean, again, I don't think his post is like the worst thing ever, but I do think the hypocrisy is outstanding. I don't think, whatever the right-wing equivalent of that is, I don't think the major Canadian news networks would be chill with that, because not only is that comment pretty nasty to Pierre, it's also nasty to Pierre's adopted father. And then right before he blocked me, which by the way, I think X should maybe fix that. It's crazy that you can chirp somebody and then immediately block them. I don't understand the logic behind that. I think maybe if you block them, it should cancel out your post in the last 15 minutes or something. Anyway, he says all the time. So he's kind of making fun of me when I said, yet gets on TV all the time. And then I said, yet I'm more successful at media than you are, dude, without being a puppet, because, I mean, I probably am. This guy, maybe he's more well-known in the Canadian media circuit. There's no question that he is, but I do have a second YouTube channel, and I don't know, I would take my current situation than this guy going on television, being what I think, for the most part, is a puppet. From what I've seen of him, I don't know his entire career, but anyway, now we're going to get to this CBC video. I'll react to a bit of it. Greg primarily is talking here about Pierre Poilievre's appearance on Joe Rogan.
Well, it's funny. One of the things that he had said, I think, in the Rogan interview was he said, I am the prime minister in waiting. And I find that odd that there's lots of people that have been described, prime ministers or premiers in waiting. They don't usually describe themselves that way. And it would have been perhaps a more apt thing to describe yourself in 2024. It's certainly not that feeling now.
Okay, I'm going to play that clip now because that's not really fair to Pierre. He didn't really say it in an arrogant manner.
Yeah. Well, we have two roles. So I said I'm the leader of the opposition, but I'm also prime minister in waiting. So the notion is that the Canadian people should not only have a government, but they should have an alternative. And that alternative has two functions. Official opposition. It's actually called that. I think it's a proper noun, a capital O, official, capital O, opposition, and also government in waiting. So you have to be prosecuting the government, but you have to present to yourself to people in a way where they say, yeah, that guy or that team could actually be the government. Those are the dual roles that I have to carry out.
Up until about Christmas, the parties were neck and neck. Mr. Carney far ahead, in terms of head-to-head polling between, Carney and Poilievre. But since that time, and I disagree with Fred, I'm not sure the polls are actually showing that they got a bump from going on the Joe Rogan show.
Yeah.
I think he got a lot of attention from it, but we haven't figured out whether it's actually given him any boost.
I actually agree with that. It's not clear yet. We'll see if Pierre can catch up to Carney in the polls, but I definitely think Carney is winning. I don't think the polls are all off by over 10%. I think Poilievre and the Conservatives still have to figure out a way to catch up. I mean, I'm not going to be dishonest. I see, by the way, some Canadian right-wing commenters, whatever. I know I call them out sometimes, but Carney is winning. I think there needs to be a general recognition that that is the reality right now. Carney is winning. He's still popular. It sucks because I don't like Carney, but anyway.
Catherine, I do wonder, what does Aaron O'Toole think some days? What did I do that was so wrong? When Poilievre gets chance after chance after chance, if he goes on a podcast and talks about the RCMP being politically manipulated, he goes on...
Chance after chance?
The Joe Rogan podcast, which we can talk about the reach, but still it's a podcast where some very unseemly things were talked about. I still hear from people that they were very uncomfortable that, that Mr. Poilievre went in a show where he would talk about, who Justin Trudeau's real father is. I mean, that sounds like, American network afternoon TV in the 1990s.
I don't think I believe him on that. You hear from some people who? Yourself in the mirror? Poilievre immediately shut that down, by the way. Again, I'll play the clip.
And I started reading about different things. I read a biography on Fidel Castro, and then I read
Justin's
some more.
dad.
No, not Justin's dad.
Right?
No. His dad was Pierre. His dad was Pierre. I had issues with Pierre Trudeau, too. Because
it is a great conspiracy theory, though.
Well, it is a hell of a... I don't think it's a true one, though. His dad is Pierre.
Unfortunately.
His dad was very controversial where I grew up because he did a lot of damage to the oil sector, and we're from oil country. And so that was one of the things that I felt kind of...
How much stronger does Pierre need to shut that down? Was he supposed to leave the interview? Is that what this guy, Greg, wants?
He did shut that. I mean, that was Joe Rogan's speculation, and Mr. Poilievre shut it down
Catherine,
with
immediately.
I hear what you're saying, but I would, when you say that, I would actually encourage people to go and watch that because there's a lot of laughter during that. It wasn't the hardest pushback I've ever seen. And he kind of said,
"What a clown. What an absolute clown world statement there. Holy buddy.
No, I don't know about that. And I mean, that's the risk you go on when you go on a medium like that. I think that the challenge...
He did say, and just because this...
These are the people that were obsessed with cancel culture. If they could bring it back, they would. He just sounds so genuinely upset that Pierre even spoke to Rogan.
You're concerned about this too, because this is an issue of public record, and we're talking about Justin Trudeau's parentage. He said it's not true. We're all putting out there for the record. Obviously, this is just some creation, some conspiracy theory. Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go on a show where a host pushes conspiracy theories, don't be surprised when it happens. Sure. So I'm still kind of wondering if this push in the United States is about having, a lane open post politics for him. And if that's the case, he could do very well in the American right-wing speaking circuit. But he's also got, his...
What is the American right-wing speaking circuit? This sounds actually like a conspiracy. It sounds like you're the one pushing the conspiracy.
Campaign manager said a few days ago that they were focused on affordability, and then a couple of days later, Mr. Poilievre is retweeting the author of Harry Potter about trans issues, and there's a picture of a female boxer who is female. And why, if you are focused on affordability...
Not female, it's intersex, and you're not an expert on this, I can tell. And again, my point, you can be a left-wing jerk in this country. Poilievre, what, he can't talk? This is a bully. These people bully right-wingers, and the right-wingers of Canada have to stop letting them. Just keep posting whatever the heck you want, and who cares what people like this think about it?
Are you talking about that? The other thing, Catherine, I'm noticing is he seems to have less and less control over his caucus in terms of caucus discipline. Jamil Javani, part of the reason why Mr. Poilievre couldn't go to Washington is if he didn't leave Washington with a meeting with after meeting with the VP and the president, like Javani did, it would have been seen as a failure. And you also have Mr. Javani voting the other day with props, using the Bible as a prop, which seems to suggest, well, the Conservative MPs who didn't vote with a Bible, what's up with them?
So anyway, with that said, please please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have a great day. Happy Easter.